Hey guys, so I just wanted to make a quick video in response to an interview that a guy named Rich Lowry had on ABC as part of a panel discussion. If you don't know Rich Lowry, he is, in my opinion, one of the most despicable people that has a mainstream audience in the media. And he basically writes opinion pieces for Politico, and they're horrible pieces. They're extremely irritating and condescending and mean, as you'll see in a few minutes in the video. And luckily, a lot of other people seem to think so as well in the comment section. But in this case, I just want you guys to watch this video to see what kind of despicable human being Rich Lowry is. And this is in the context of Rolling Stones publishing rape allegations that turn out to be false. And it's an interview by George Stephanopoulos, who will be speaking in just a second. So I'll play the video. It's called Rich Lowry Suggests Forced Kissing is Not Sexual Assault, and I'll comment alongside of it. There are other speakers there as well, so I'll just differentiate them from Rich Lowry.
We got a couple minutes left. I want to move on.
So this is George Stephanopoulos.
To one other subject. It's kind of remarkable. We saw Rolling Stone's big expose. They said, explosive story about sexual assault, gang rape at the University of Virginia. That was the original story right there. This weekend, the story appeared to collapse. Rolling Stone apologizing, their editor tweeting out the fact that there's a story that appears in Rolling Stone in which I don't have complete confidence is deeply unsettling to me. We made a judgment, the kind of judgment reporters and editors make every day, and in this case, our judgment was wrong. Rich Lowry, based on a woman who said she was assaulted at the UVA, the story did not appear to add up. Washington Post did a lengthy expose, and you were one of the first reporters to call out Rolling Stone on this.
So isn't that sad? Rich Lowry was one of the first people to call out on this, call out the Rolling Stones on this. And was the Washington Post? I'd be okay with it, right? And it was a Washington Post, and I'm okay with him. But him, he has to gloat, he has to tear people down, he has to say horrible things, which he will do in just a second.
Well, when something is so explosive, you have to be certain it's right. And Rolling Stone didn't do basic fact-checking here. I believe because they had an agenda to portray UVA as this bastion of white male privilege where basically rapists rule the social life. And
so that's funny, right? So he knows what evidence you need to back up a claim, right? He was able to call out Rolling Stones on this issue, right? They didn't have the particular evidence. He was able to call them out on it. And yet, he presents a claim right now for which he didn't present any evidence, right? So he's basically, I believe they have an agenda to make UVS out to seem to be some bastion for rich white men or something like that. So he's basically making the rich white male the victim here, oh, they're attacking us, they're attacking white males, so we're not rapists, so he's playing the victim card right now, right? And he's making an accusation against the Rolling Stones without providing any evidence for that allegation, which is ironically something he caught the Rolling Stones doing, right? So he's banking on the public that not catching this, right? He wants people to not catch his mistake just like he caught someone else's. That's why I'm here.
Will never be undone. And I think if there's any justice in the world, Rolling Stone would have to give up covering music and become the alumni magazine of the University of Virginia.
George, my biggest...
So he's just, I don't know, cracking jokes right now. He's just like dancing on the graves. I can play that game too in just a second.
Fear out of this is that...
So these are other people talking. They make decent points, so I'll just play them because I think it's important points.
The biggest damage to me that's been done in this is that women who finally have the courage to stand up and say, this happened to me, and no woman, if you think about the history, no woman has ever gained fame or fortune by falsely accusing a man of rape or sexual assault. No woman has ever gained from it. It takes courage, and my fear is people are going to now doubt what everybody says. I believe there was still sexual assault, whether it followed the facts of the case, but that's my bigger fear.
I just like to add a caveat to his point, something I don't completely agree with, that you can destroy people with false rape accusations, right? So you do have to be careful. He's mostly right that it's very difficult for a woman to come out with a rape allegation, but people have done that in order to destroy falsely, they've done it in order to destroy people's reputations, as we've seen in this case.
For me, a bigger issue, and the issue that sort of gets buried in this is, should a university be handling the investigation
Right,
of a
with the
sexual
police.
assault.
Absolutely
I mean, if it was a murder, would the
Absolutely.
university handle it? It's like we're saying that sexual assault is not a crime. I mean,
Absolutely.
this is the biggest issue that we've had in the military, where we have hammered home
Absolutely
that
true.
sexual assault is a crime. And
Regardless of this one story, George, the statistics
Van Jones is talking.
are there and they're shocking. It's literally 1 out of 5.
No, it's not. That's a bogus statistic.
So Van Jones is trying to say that 1 out of 5 women are sexually assaulted, and Rich Lowry is butting in to say that that's not true. That's just bunk. That statistic is bunk.
Let me finish.
Bogus.
First of all, it's not bogus. And frankly, one of the things I think is really unfortunate is that when you do have young women who are courageous enough to step forward and they then point to other young women, you get this sort of attack. And I think this mistake on the part of Rolling Stone actually emboldens people who want to attack young women's credibility when they come forward.
That statistic is based on a survey that includes attempted forced kissing as sexual assault. That is not a real number. It's an ad.
So he's saying that that statistic is bunk because it includes attempted forced kissing, and everyone piles up on him, which is hilarious and well deserved.
Do you want me to attempt?
Well,
Can I kiss you? Can I kiss you here?
Let's talk about this later, man. It's not a crime that the police are going to be involved in and prosecute.
That's an assault. That is an assault.
That is a sexual assault. If I go like this at you, that's a sexual assault. If you
She wants to
that's a sexual assault.
And we're going to have to stop it.
This is really funny. So basically, there's this particular statistic that says 1 in 5 women are sexually assaulted, right? Now, if this statistic goes around, right, it's gonna make the feminist movement have a legitimate grievance, right? They're not just whining victims anymore, the way the Amazing Atheist tries to make them out to be. They're not just whining victims, perpetuating victimhood the way Thunderfoot is trying to make them out to be. They have a legitimate grievance, if that statistic is true, right? So this guy, he has to destroy that statistic, right? He cannot allow the statistic propagate because facts apparently are not important. Just making an argument, right, for your side is important, right? So how does he pick and choose? How does he pick this statistic to try and devalue it? He says that it includes women who are forcibly who claim that to be their forcibly kissed. Now, at an emotional level, this makes you a horrible person, right? Like, imagine your own sister or your own daughter in that situation, you know, where she's being forcibly kissed, right? Would you be happy with that situation? Would you think that was a horrible, horrible situation? Of course you would think it's a horrible situation. But this is the thing. It's like they don't see it. They don't see these people as human beings. It seems to me, right? These are statistics that he needs to destroy so he can continue his anti-feminist tirade, right? He can continue his anti-feminist arguments and appear on CNN and say that statistic is bogus, that statistic is bogus, this statistic is bogus. He needs to be able to do that. And in order to do that, he'll say despicable things, right? That's what's amazing to me about the other side, right? In order to keep making these arguments, they have to say horrible, disgusting things. Now the thing about this asshole, Rich Lowry, is he's trying to dance on the grave of Rolling Stones, right? So he caught them in a mistake and he's gonna burn them to the ground. Well, guess what? We caught this asshole in a mistake right now. And we need to make him pay. I think it's totally fair. Because he's not practicing good journalistic standards, so why should we, right? So he said, in my opinion, the Rolling Stone did this because of some agenda without providing any evidence for that reasoning. So we should be able to do the same thing. For example, if he's sitting in a panel, I could say, hey, I don't trust the words that are coming out of this guy's mouth because he thinks it's okay to forcibly kiss women. And in my opinion, he's done it in the past. That's why he thinks it's okay, right? Why can't I say that as my opinion? If he can state opinions without any evidence, why do I need evidence to state my opinion about him, right? I'm playing his game right now, right? And I can play it really well. And I think that's what we need to do. So a similar thing happened in a video of mine in the comments section that I made a few days ago. That video, basically, I'm responding to a Amazing Atheist video, and in which I defend these women who pulled the fire alarm at an MRA conference, because from their point of view, there was a speaker there who was a rape apologist, right? From their point of view, that's what they thought he was. And I was basically saying, hey, you know, they're wrong to pull this fire alarm, but can't you see how hurtful it is when there's a rape apologist, at least from their point of view, speaking there, right? Can't you at least understand where they're coming from, right? It's not really that they're against the First Amendment, they're against this one particular guy, right? They're not against men's rights, they're against this one particular guy, right? So can't you at least see that, right? So this one dude, he commented back, you know, it doesn't really matter what your position is, basically. If you're stopping someone's First Amendment rights, then it automatically means that your position is wrong, right? It's basically what he said. I'm paraphrasing a bit. But then I pointed out a parallel situation in which a while back, black Americans tried to stop the KKK from marching in a black community, right? And these black American these KKK members, they were saying horrible things. They were saying the N-word. They were saying the white race is superior, etc., etc. And these black Americans forcibly stopped their First Amendment rights. Now, from this guy's perspective, right, from the argument that this dude made, right, in the comment section, your argument is automatically wrong, right? Your position is automatically wrong if you're forcibly stopping someone's First Amendment rights. Now, he's saying this in the context of feminism, right? Because he wants feminism to be wrong, right? Because he's an anti-feminist. But if you put that parallel situation in with race, then in that case, those black Americans would be wrong, right? Because they tried to stop the KKK's speech, right? Their entire position would be wrong, right? Because they tried to stop their freedom of speech, right? What's their position? That blacks are equal to whites, right? What's the KKK's position? That whites are superior to blacks, right? So his own argument would mean that blacks are not equal to whites, right? So that's the kind of despicable arguments that have to be made in order to destroy feminism, right? If you think a little bit, you know? So, and that's why I make these analogies, you know, in my videos. I want people to see from another perspective, you know? They may be anti-feminist, but they may not be racist, so they can understand why black Americans would do this. So I want them to understand why these women are doing this, even though they're wrong, you know, that nobody should stop First Amendment rights, right? Not those black Americans and not those women, right? But I can understand where both people are coming from, right? Unless you don't have a heart, in which these guys clearly don't, right? So anyway, that's just my little video rant. Try to make more videos in the future. I have some free time these days, so I hope you guys enjoy.